Okay, it's Tuesday, October 21st, 6:35, following the meeting of the Groton City Planning and Zoning Commission to order. Robert Forrest present.
Jason Ross, present.
All right, approval of minutes for the last meeting. We have to get a chance to look at the minutes. So we comments or we should approve. Okay. All right, all those in favor of approving the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? I was not present at the meeting, so I'll abstain from both. Motion passes. Okay, so we have a continuation of a public hearing. I'll have a few things to read for that. Let's see. Good evening. I'm Robert Forrest, acting chairman of the City of Groton Planning and Zoning Commission. This evening, the commission will hold a public hearing for the application of site plan 506 special permit application 476, located at 0 Sacred Heart Drive, 140 Quantic Road, and 150 Quantic Road. Because this hearing was properly noticed and appears on our agenda, no motion is required to open it. As chair, I now formally declare the public hearing open. The purpose of this hearing is to hear comments from the applicant, supporters, opponents, and other interested members of the public. For the time this application was received, the commission members have not discussed this with each other, the applicant, or the public, except during a public hearing like this one. After this hearing is closed, discussion will take place only during the commission's formal deliberations. This hearing is being recorded and the minutes are being taken. If you wish to speak, please just do so from the podium. State your name clearly, spell your last name, and provide your address for the record. Speak slowly into the microphone and reintroduce yourself each time you speak. Here's how we'll proceed. First, the applicant will be introduced. Second, the applicant or their representative will present the proposal. 3, commission members and staff may ask questions or provide comments. 4, the applicant will have the opportunity to respond. 5, we will then invite comments from the public in this order. Those in favor of the application, and those opposed for the application, and those neither in favor or opposed for the application. All questions should be directed to the chair. All comments should relate to how the proposal complies or does not comply with the City of Groton zoning regulations or the plan of conservation and development. After public comments, the applicant may respond, and the commission members or staff may ask follow-up questions. Each speaker may have one additional opportunity to reply. The commission will then decide whether to close the hearing or continue it to another date. Once the hearing is closed, no further comments, exhibits, or correspondence can be accepted. Following the hearing, the commission will deliberate during a regular or special meeting open to the public and will consider all testimony and materials. Agendas are posted at least 24 hours in advance of the city website, city clerk's office. After the deliberation, the commission may vote to approve the application, approve it with conditions, deny it, or deny it with prejudice. Are there any questions about the procedure before we begin? Okay. Slides.
Where should I speak? You said a podium, but there's no microphone or anything. Okay. Okay. I don't need to speak behind a podium.
if you don't need to, your choice.
Okay, I'll roam. I'll head over here. I'm Dave Cooley, the owner of DLC Engineering Services, down in there for this project, to grow Sacred Heart Drive. At first, I just wanted to orientate everybody, and because there's 3 parcels in play here, and we have 140, which is a horseshoe type parcel. It's got frontage on Quonic Road and these 2 areas. And then you have 150 Quonic Road, which kind of comes around the back. And then this is 0 Sacred Heart Drive. It's landlocked, and obviously adjoining a few other documents. So the first proposal is to revise the lot lines to combine these parcels into one. And combine what's already being shared on the property, parking and pedestrian access. Right here is 140 Quonic Road. We have commercial retail space, ground floor, one bedroom unit. Second, 150 Quonic Road has I believe 3 apartment units.
5 units, 2 bedrooms and 3 units. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Dennis Billy's 6 Redding Street, Westwood, UILLIAS. I'm the owner, along with my wife, both of the properties. And
So strictly residential here. The intention of really is to combine the properties and develop a multifamily residential building on 0 Sacred Heart Drive, a 20-unit complex, and then develop the rest of the area behind 140 and 150 with parking, pedestrian access, and parking for all the existing uses and the proposed uses of the multifamily structure. So this is the new parking area in gray here. Again, it provides ample parking for all of the existing and proposed uses. There's 43 parking spaces total, 41 required. Another key element of this is that the existing property has a 1-lane entry off of Quonic Road right here, and a 1-lane exit right here. There's also a 2-way gravel drive right here. We are looking to consolidate all access, the vehicular and pedestrian, into one alongside 150 Quonic Road, 2-way entry and exit, and a pedestrian sidewalk as well. We would then remove 1-lane exit and entry, and topsoil and seed those areas. So the parking area is to be all paved, obviously putting the building in just Sacred Heart Drive, Sacred Heart Drive. It's another introduction of the purchase area, so there's a lot to deal with from a stormwater perspective. What's being proposed for stormwater is 2 infiltration basin fields. These are the plastic chambers, several rows dug, and a series of catch basins, and a lot of curving to basically catch everything and throw it into infiltration basins. get as much infiltration as we possibly can. We did soil testing, test pits, in the area. And I think the initial rainfall is going to be infiltrated in, but for those extreme events, the systems are designed to provide adequate storage to actually decrease the peak runoff discharge, which could be an overflow from each of these fields and the connection to the catch basin on Sacred Heart Drive, going through the back corner of property. So just to emphasize, this whole system is sized so that there's actually a decrease. Right now, it's all overland flow. There's some, there's existing pavement in the back that's parking. It's not in great condition. There's a lot of roads, dirt, parking. So this will really capture all the runoff on the property, treat it, infiltrate it, and then overflow it into catch basin. The existing contours all drain this way anyways. So hopefully we're able to capture the runoff and maybe improve the situation with drainage on Sacred Heart Drive. And downgrade it from there. So another thing I want to emphasize here is that, like, if you're consolidating the entry and exit onto the properties, there's a big safety gain there. This is a very tight driveway right here, and if you come right up on the sidewalk, it's the entry, but it's just really tight. And coming back this way, similar situations, very tight driveway. So providing the vehicle access and pedestrian access all in one conduit, and I think we're increasing the safety access onto the Blind Road substantially. Another thing to mention is that there's a retaining wall coming along the back edge of the property here. That raising the grade so that we have a more flat parking area. Presently, the property drops off 4 or 5 feet to the back corner there. So we're turning into a retaining structure to establish the parking area that we need. The existing propane tanks right in the middle of the property are going to carry the parking. Points here. So there is site lighting. There's a light fixture here, light fixture here. It's much less than I thought we were going to be, quite honestly, but after doing the photometric modeling, that's what keeps the kind of light getting cast onto properties. And here are the elevations of the post building. All it's in the colonial, probably most of them an architect by any means, but it was a good all utilities are coming out to one road, looking up to water, the fire and domestic, sewer, and electric. That covers everything. One final point, and one of the motivations, opportunity here for the property owners is providing residential on the property and for the neighborhood. This parcel, the Five Corners district, and Five Corners itself is right in this area. It's walkable to GD, it's walkable to Pfizer. So we're hoping to support housing needs. This. So I wanted to cover, so that is the questions. Thank you. Thank you. I'll see.
Question?
Russ? So you mentioned in the northwest corner of the property, the runoff that connects the catch basin and Sacred Heart. Is that existing?
The country.
Well, the path, the runoff path. Okay, so is that an overland, drainage path, or is that?
No, so there's a series of manholes, there's that the overflow, existing the filtration system. And then drain it underneath the retaining wall. To another manhole that would Sacred Heart Drive, and then that's with the catch basin.
So what you're proposing there is trenching.
Yes. This would be a construction need, that area construction needs to install it. We did go through, public works.
I guess I'll defer to Leslie on whether the properties listed as part of the scope of the project, we need to consider the other properties that trenching effort would pass through. Or is that?
So.
Go ahead.
So one key point here is that this is the end of Sacred Heart Drive, as you know, the paved, like almost kind of cul-de-sac.
Right.
So we're seeking in right here through the right of way. So there's really no private property ownership, and that's
Just a brief description of what driveway path of the traffic.
yes. And we have full intentions. This is a playground right now. Okay. We coordinated with Birch and after the spouse for the
I guess my real question was from the perspective of this commission, whether or not we needed to include those other properties as part of the scope, but I forget the direction.
You are, that is, we've gone back and forth on this many times with. Which direction?
So this is normal.
Oh, stormwater, sorry.
The sewer, we're tying into the sewer line that's running through this area. There was appeal made from Sacred Heart Corporation, Civil Church Corporation. There's a dispute there on who owns that property, so instead of pursuing that as recommended by Groton Utilities, you're now getting sewer from the bottom. Okay.
And you're not too far below
Too far below it.
grade. Is the
Well, we're actually. So this is reasonably, this is like 5-6 feet. This is actually drop manhole right here. Okay, it sets it down 13 bottom of this manhole.
what else? Questions?
One insurance property. There. On. that.
So this isn't, it doesn't pay,
That's just, okay, so it's not a property.
it's not,
You had one.
I've had that discussion. As going through the project script. Whatever. That's shared, got all the lines right. Got it.
And these, the percentage of purpose. You're not getting that whole back. You're getting that.
Not entirely, right, so, I mean, this is grass, this is grass, this is grass. This is grass, this is grass.
So you have,
Uh. I can get that on the papers.
building coverage. Include what's existing, let's consider this. All your numbers have to include. You need to update.
But
That was. So, yeah, so. Check to me. Getting space to. The assumption that. Property.
What's the standard threshold
For.
for that total coverage? Which we could get that. That's what we're trying to figure out.
That's what's. And I understand the idea of putting. Idea of paper. Includes. Right.
Yeah.
So that.
Privacy.
Yeah. On the which game law. Not planning on use of person of missing. I you on.
There is a fence on top.
And maximum. Minimum foot candles. Paper size. To the windows. Next. I have this.
There's definitely some zeros. There's.
Am I correct? That it choose.
Target was either 2 or 5. And they can verify.
Two is fine.
Yeah, 2 must.
Or does that have too much fun?
Well, when I first laid out the lighting, I was worried about not having enough light. And after just too much. It got dark. So. But I think it's good. I think we're meeting standards.
Right? Just the part. There isn't. I'm sorry, can I wait, but it's in here. Wait.
It's on our,
I'm sorry.
Northwest corner, that's.
so we would have to establish that structure.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. That's.
Anyone else have any questions before we go to? Oh, okay, is there anyone here that would like to speak in favor? Well, yes,
I'm not speaking in favor or against, but I wanted to.
okay, we're gonna go in favor in order. Anyone in favor, like to speak in favor of the application?
Yes, I will.
Again, on Dennis Place.
Okay,
So, as you know, there's a big shortage of housing in Groton area, New London, well, everywhere really. And this proposal, I think it's perfect for what the property was located. It's landlocked, you can hardly see it from the street, you can't put businesses in it. So it's perfect, and the reason I'm doing one bedrooms is because I find that most of my tenants are single by themselves, whether it be men, women, and then couples. I do have a couple couples, but a couple, they have kids, they, I have a total of 3, 4, so 4 one-bedroom units, and half of them, 2 of them work in B. One gentleman doesn't even own a car. He walks to work. His parents, he's from New Jersey. He visits his parents, takes the train to New Jersey, and that's how, I don't know how he gets around, supermarket, walks or Uber or something, but so we have plenty of parking. The runoff, the water is going to improve it, the area, which is good. I like that. Because in the winter you get go on the street with the water, right? When it's really heavy rain. Lighting, I like that because right now it is very dark. I don't know if you've ever been there, Leslie, at nighttime in the back. I do have lighting, but they're up on an existing building, pointing out because I can't do one of those nice lights, So anyway, and then we're doing, make it look nice with the pedestrian walk and the bushes and stuff. So it's gonna be a beautiful project, and I don't think it's. My neighbor's going to oppose it. We have a gentleman that owns a property, 2-story building in the middle, is concerned, but I think because the existing, the way we put the propane tanks at the time, the only place we could place them, the old planner was in the middle of the parking lot, and they're so ugly. Now we're gonna hide them in the corner, in the ground. And that, that eliminates that, so that's gonna look so much better. And the building itself, I think it looks nice. I don't know if you have any suggestions on that, any improvements, I would love to listen to that. And any other questions you might have that I can answer for you. Okay.
thank you very much. Anyone else in favor?
Yeah.
Okay.
William, that's my husband. I just think that what we're doing is gonna make a huge difference. The lot, the way it is, it's with this project, it's gonna look beautiful, nice and clean, and it'll be safe.
Very much.
Thank you.
Okay, is there anyone opposed who would like to speak? Okay, anyone either for or against?
I'd like to inquire.
Yeah, please state your name and address.
I represent Sacred Hearts. I'm Attorney Richard Dix. The applicant has changed some of his plans as a result of our letter. We were very happy to do that because he was going to try to have the utilities go out on Sacred Heart Drive. I heard a couple of comments and I couldn't follow them exactly, but a couple of times I heard the word right of way easement. The only easement is the sewer easement that goes down Sacred Hearts and then continues on. Sacred Heart Drive ends. It's not a public throughway, so if the right of way was being talked about it in that context, that's not the case. You mentioned the playground. We want to make sure, and thank you, Councilor Russ, for bringing up the issue of runoff that might continue on to Sacred Hearts Drive. I couldn't follow exactly all of the answers, but the bottom line is there'll be no increase in runoff on Sacred Hearts Drive. Is that what I understand?
Absolutely.
And nothing that would impair in any way the use of the playground.
Okay.
Okay, with that in mind, then we have no objection to it. In fact, the lighting might help because I know Sacred Heart does rent some parking spaces there and it might actually make it better for them. Yeah, I'm saying that personally, not speaking for the thinking church. I think those were the only real concerns I had. You said there was a fence on top at this point.
Yes, it's a precast, concrete, retaining wall system.
Right.
It has pertinence that you can place a chain link or any of the types of fence on top.
And I'm sure the town planner would be looking at the aesthetics, so we don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
And I think that was my list, so. The other questions were asked by others. So, thank you very much. I'm gonna go to dinner. Thank you very much. Enjoy.
Okay, one more chance, the applicant, anything else you'd like to share, say, present?
No,
Oh, yes, sir.
Andrew Chen, 144 Pequot Road.
You state your name again, please.
Andrew Chen,
Yes, thank you.
CHN, 144 Pequot Road. The biggest concern they had was the property boundary line, and right now, as far as talking to the attorney, they're having a survey done on the property just to see the back of the parking lot where that hair line is at.
So obviously, we did our own survey and the way it looks now. We thought that Mr. Chen owns like this, it goes, I don't know if you see that. Height, it's like slash lines. But when we have the survey done. There's actually a pin here in this driveway that goes right across. I couldn't find this pin here. But there's got to be even somewhere, so, so I own this portion that we thought was his. So this way, when the cars come in, see over here, it's in and out. But if his surveyor finds something different, then we'll have to address that, obviously. If I don't own that property, I'm not gonna go over his property. So that's his concern, but I don't know, when is your surveyor, do you know when it'll be done?
Right now, they're in the process.
They're doing it, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm sure,
So as soon as you can, they can
one
get-
surveyor finds one thing, another one's not gonna find
I'm
something
not,
different.
trying to figure out where the line is at.
Yeah,
And just for the record, I just want to note that the drawings that we have, at least I have the original, everybody knows an embossed stamp, but it is signed and stamped by a licensed surveyor from the state of Connecticut. So
Unless. No, here it is, yeah.
I've worked off of survey of Brian, Florida.
Okay.
And after hearing some of the complaints, or concerns, we double backed and verified the property description for 1.4. And like I said, like even I understood it, once you went through it, it's pretty clear on the distance it is to the variance, so we're confident, got it.
Yeah, it's just it's unfortunate when you have a working knowledge of property lines. And then a project ends up revealing where the technical legal lines are. You know, it changes what your perception of the lines are. It can be unfortunate. But the lines are what they are.
Okay, I was just saying, I'm not, I was just saying, they're just trying to clarify, because at the same time, the worry about is that retaining wall on the left side is a little being cut in half, and one of the dirt on the right side would be higher significantly to the left side, so there's. I don't know how,
And show me.
I don't know how they, yeah, because there was a whole. This line is a whole solid wall from here to here. And if they're just cutting it right there, so what happened to the rest of the waste area? That's.
We're not getting rid of that wall. We're not gonna touch that.
Oh,
Yeah, there's
no,
no.
it sounds like on a drawing, was it when you turning this into, is it the trees? Is that?
Yeah, there's trees. That's
Yeah,
what-
yeah,
yeah.
it sounds like that.
Only this portion.
So, Mr. Chen, your off-street parking is that notched out area there to the left of the house, as you look at it from the street?
Right now, no, because right now this is going in and that's coming out. Right now, we're parking back in the building over here, going in and out this side.
Okay. And would Mr. Chen still be able to?
Just, so we're still going in and out here into the back parking lot, because sounds like there's a half and half here of their driveway, driveway.
Right, so that,
He doesn't have a driveway on his property.
okay. So, all right, good.
Aside, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
aside from the entry right here. We were proposing to restore this, basically give that back to Mr. Chen. Because right now it's the entry to the property. We can certainly consider just putting leaving the pavement there so that you park on his property.
So what this proposal is. Where you're basically that you plan taking out two curb cuts.
Correct. So he's gonna have a parking spot here, and he can have, if he wanted to, make a driveway, he has enough land here, make his own driveway. And he has enough parking, even though, okay, so the way it is now, it's land behind the house, I'm sorry. So his land behind the house goes, I see even, then it drops off down, there's all kinds of blocks, and I guess they took off a stairway, cement stairway, dumped it right back here. If he cleaned that up, he could actually park two cars very easily back here. And I would have to give him another right of way, I guess, if he wanted to get the best property, or he can put his driveway in here. He can put his own driveway, he has enough space to put his own driveway, but he would have to do a driveway, that's all. You know what I mean? So that's the only, or park here, you know, once we close it off. You know, so, and this parking on the street also is, you know. We go back and forth, we have a history, we rented to a tenant that had a mobile home, not a trailer parked back here, and somebody lived there illegally, so I called the department, I called everybody, they had fires burning back there, they had a fire department, it's been a nightmare over the years. But it's kind of quiet, nice now, because he only has one tenant, the other apartment is empty. And, you know, I offered to buy the building, but his dad doesn't want to sell it, so I don't know. Or if he wants too much money, well, whatever, that's a different subject, but who knows, maybe we can make a deal down the road.
Well, because if it's a driveway and it's supposed to be like it used to, I figured that's what they were there for, right? And
There's no-
I don't think they checked into that, there's no easement. So I've been nice enough to let you use that driveway. You know, see, I'm a realtor, so when people ask you, they everybody asks, where's the lot line? And we've been trained to say, we don't know, somewhere over here. Because we can't say, we're not surveyors, we can't tell them the line's over here, because you never know. So when your dad bought the house, you know, it looked like he owned that, but as it turns out, it doesn't. So, you know, best thing to do when people buy a house is do a survey. And because all these things happen all the time, and that's why you do a title search, and companies, they check out these lines and stuff. And you get title insurance, and which protects you against that. But, you know, that's the way it is.
Okay, so you're getting rid of the curb cut on the existing driveway in the middle, sort of between 144 and 150. All right, it's right there, that's what I'm looking at. Okay, and both your greens and outs are gonna be east of 110.
It's just a small bit. Wall. And the wall is maybe 2 feet tall.
Right, and it's even, the bottom of it is equal, probably not, so it drops off.
so after the meeting, I guess I didn't know about this, like, cause they want, we have to be able to access to the back of the house, you know, like. Doesn't be empty space, and was drawn like that because when they were put in the tanks, and I guess I was. Because if you're saying like that, there's no easement, is there easement on his or extra on the left? You know?
Oh, yeah, well, I guess what you're asking is. Not knowing that the property line looked like that,
Yes, yep, because I said if it looked like that in the beginning, they wouldn't let you. They wouldn't agree to, you know, but don't share the back.
right, it's been functionally used, without an easement of that portion of 144 for blind against roads, yes. So I said, when these projects happen and the surveyors come out, real lines get drawn, and then you know what you haven't known for years. How deep is that off street? The section that belongs to 144, how deep is that?
How deep into the property?
Yes. I know what I'm asking, I'm not asking, articulating it very well, I know what I'm thinking.
I've been there.
Is that deep enough for a car?
That's 26.60.
And that's your needs,
That's from this corner.
That side's got sidewalk as well, or is that inside the sidewalk?
The sidewalk is great.
Okay,
so it's inside. That's not the side.
Yes, yes. But actually, this width here, it's if there's space for a driveway.
Yeah, I measured it, it's plenty, it's nine. We can do it now, yeah.
oh, it's being used now. Correct.
Right, but we're gonna close it half it off. You know, right here, see the red line? Right now, the driveway's from here to here. And we're gonna close it off, because that's where the property line is here, the red line is the property line, which found out, but.
Got about 14 feet from side of the building.
You've got a set of stairs on the right hand
Yeah.
side of the house.
Right, use this up to the building. There's already stairs.
But how wide is, past the driveway only has to be. What? 9 feet, how wide is the drive?
Well, for a multi-family, it's probably be at least 12 feet. Yeah, it's,
Well, they still have enough parking in this driveway from here to here. There's a couple cars, one here, so you got 3 cars, I don't know, and then, you know, obviously they have walking access to the backyard. But they won't have no access, I guess, that, you know. So. You know, you have enough space to park 2 cars there. It is what it is.
Very good, yeah.
Did-
Sorry,
So you said that now the property is lined up at the back, but can you explain more about the grades on that corner? So I'm envisioning if they were to get easement to use the new driveway you've made to go around and then into the back of his property, are the grades such that that would work?
Yes. Yeah, but I don't know if, can you get access from here, you mean?
Yeah.
The new driveway?
Yep.
To go here?
Yep.
Can they do that? Is there anything gonna be in the way?
I don't know, this is open. That's all gravel then. So if they came in from the backside. It's a relatively flat lot anyways, I think, there might be a 2-foot grade change from like maybe the back of the house to. The grades that we're planning for. So with a little bit of labor, I think they can put us apart.
But to your point, I don't know if I wanna do that, because they've been using this driveway here for the last, I don't know, years. And everybody people that live there. Mr. Chen himself has done it, your real estate agent has done it, they park in the driveway, they leave their car there. And I'm like, I don't know how many times I have to call the police. One time I got in an argument with her. My wife was there, she knows. I ended up getting arrested. Okay, so that's, you know, you can't, because they parked on my property, that's not. You can't, you know, you can't use my stuff.
You know what I mean? That's.
I didn't, no, I
let's try to keep discussion to the scope of commission business.
But this entry and exit here. You really don't care.
Yeah, exactly, that's what I was saying, you think about, here, he has plenty of room from the edge of property to the stairs, you could easily fit 2 cars, you know, if that's what they choose to do, you know.
Leslie, is this issue is because of the lot line adjustment, is why this is now. Perfect.
Yes, part, but one of the things, as you take away that. The half of the, or the portion of the driveway, so that. That's gonna.
It doesn't have to do with changing the lot lines. The lot lines are what they are for the ownership. The ownership's staying all the same within the lot lines, and the lot lines aren't changing in relationship to Mr. Chen's.
So, if I understand, this is a shared driveway and half of it wants to go away.
No, it was never technically shared, it's just that functionally been used without easement.
Understood.
So access to the backyard has been through 150 proponent property without technical authorization. It's just been functionally part of the way that land has been used. And so that driveway is now gonna be grassed over as part of the property of 150. So it will no longer be
Yeah.
an approved private path.
If it's sharing.
Leslie, what's our role related to this discussion between owners?
That, I'm thinking about exactly that. On the one hand, we can only make judgments based upon where the lot lines are and what the regulations say. On the other hand, there is an issue of access to a property that has had access one way for a long time. I'm not arguing adverse possession, just to be clear. But when you're changing something like that, you need to be careful. That's why I'm not completing too many sentences. So instead, I'm just,
She's being careful with her words like a realtor with a lot line.
Exactly. Very good, Mr. West.
I guess it'd be helpful under discussions to figure out what considerations in our deliberations need to be.
I will say that I would not be comfortable having you make a decision tonight. I definitely prefer to.
If we could get very specific about that, so we don't step outside of our domain and we do right by property owners here and everything. Yeah, we just address the application, you know, on its merit itself, but yeah, that would be helpful. I think for the next.
Yeah, so I would recommend leaving the public hearing open. For clarification on some of these issues, and Mr. Chen says he's doing land survey, so if that said, that could be ended up, unless you only want to leave it open to.
Any other discussions or things we should talk about? So we'll get that information so we can move quickly next meeting. Have a disposition, I think.
From an aesthetics point, we've talked a lot in some of our conversations about encouraging more greenery in parking spaces, and I'm noticing that there's a lot of unused space within the parking plan that could account for some grass to be added, some foliage to be added, a tree or something. So I'd just like to see maybe a more in-depth landscape plan that I could purchase things like that. Like these open curb spaces by the sidewalk, what I assume is a sidewalk coming down the center of it, between the parking spaces.
A lot of that is to allow for garbage trucks or appropriate trucks.
I agree with that too. I would like grass around the edges, you know, it would make a big difference in appearance, but I have no objection to that.
If you get a landscape plan and have it as a separate plan for all of this to take away.
I think we have one in there.
There is a landscape. This game is not to be shortly. Parking.
So what?
Page 10 of 14.
Building.
I clearly needs to be addressed. In terms of
Go that far.
language.
The dumpster is here. Definitely have to protect the trucks.
And the relationship of the approach you noticed here, I think it's kind of. Okay. The look.
Yes,
Propane's in the Northwest corner, but
yes.
Right, open with the traffic. Direction of the traffic. This.
This is just two-way because the space is there.
But it did, the. Sort of fictitiously ends here.
Me too.
but that's to allow parking access for 140 on it.
Yes, 140 and 150. Obviously, the design was developed not considering 144. So nothing that's going on 144 is true.
Anybody have anything?
So procedurally, we still have an open public hearing in progress. We have to vote to close the public hearing. Or to continue.
It just would keep it open.
So I have a question on that. So Mr. Chen says he has survey priors. Now, how long is that gonna take? A month, 2 months, 3 months, a year? You know, how long do we wait?
Wait, this is open for other reasons. This is being kept open for other reasons until next month. So assuming that everything, even if everything else was, so. Everything else was in. And Mr. Chen had not produced his map by that. That would not hold up a decision.
Okay, so the decision will be made next month then.
Or we don't prepare to like that.
Okay. Another real thing that I have, okay, so what are the other conditions?
If I can finish the thought. So what I propose is that we suspend public hearing, remain open until our next regular meeting. And then we use our deliberation time to determine what we wish to see as conditions that we will then do the full deliberation next time following. Reopening it public. Does that make sense?
So you want to, let me make sure I understand.
Get the motion?
You want to continue the public hearing till next month, and then when we close the public hearing at the next meeting, deliberation time to set conditions.
So I want to spend, we're in an open public hearing right now. We're technically listening to comments that are neither for nor against the proposal. So we need to get out of that procedurally and close the public hearing. But then our next issue would be that, well, one, we don't want to fully close it. Two, we would go into deliberation. So I think what we need to do is set the conditions that the commission expects to see before we finally conclude the public hearing, close it next meeting. Before we wrap up this discussion. On this,
You want to have a conversation or have a deliberations about petitions for approval now.
yes, yes, now, so that we can get those conditions met before we reopen the public hearing and do final deliberation. I know it, did I articulate that more than next?
So how does this logistically work, Leslie?
I'm not sure we can do it in that order. I understand what you're saying and I understand where you're going to be.
Okay, then I think I have a way. Well,
Could we not just deliberate now? Could we just not, we don't have to vote on closing or continuing the public hearing, we could just deliberate now. And then vote. when we're
Public
finished.
hearing, the purpose of the public hearing, I understand what you're
Yeah.
trying to get at. Maybe what we would. You can't really deliberate during a public hearing. Because the deliberations are supposed to take into account everything that has been put into the public hearing. However, I would be happy to read off my list of things that I hope the applicant would consider for next month, and if anybody else has anything else. Is that,
I think that's fair. I was just trying to think, procedurally, how we make sure that we're not violating,
Yeah.
the description of the sequence of events. that you
If
described.
we just use the back and forth with the applicant right now in the public hearing. To compute,
I'm not,
I don't know that we're really in an approved back and forth
well,
stage. Though we functionally doing that.
we said, let's see. We can, ask questions and provide comments.
Yeah.
After the public comments, the applicant may respond, the commission members or staff can ask follow-up questions, each speaker can have one additional opportunity to reply, it fits within that.
Okay.
So let's just continue that portion, and maybe at that, Leslie, if your comments and questions fit within that, and we have good barometer for everybody of of how this discussion is going, when we suspend it.
do it in the form of question to them.
Okay. Yeah, so let's see, we're at the, so we have all the, comments for or against, either for or against, so now we're at the, after the public comment, the applicant will respond, the commission members or staff may ask follow-up questions, so Leslie, you can ask some follow-up questions.
So my follow-up questions. Not as long as. So I just want to be sure that the commission knows that to approve, there'll be several motions. To approve the lot merger first. So probably be mindful of those. And clarified that you are closing 2 of 3 curb cuts. One comment like that is that generally speaking, it makes for a more walkable community if you have fewer curb cuts. Because you have fewer points of conflict between automobiles and pedestrians or bicyclists. That's generally thought of as a good thing to do. We discussed the property line clarification and that. See what comes to that. Correct. Yes, only, yes.
Will that curb cut remain? What we're just talking about, leaving that curb cut, leaving this existing concrete that falls on the property 144.
Say this, this.
For the private survey.
If any,
So,
and we're not. Sorry.
so if the lot lines as they're drawn on our plans turn out to be correct. Is there an impediment to closing and approving the proposal, the application? Based on something that's happening on the drop?
Probably not, but it would depend what it was, I suppose. I don't, not. This application is about your properties and the assumption that they would be merged and how you would use your property. Okay, that's what this application is for. That's what the commission will have to consider and base their decision. Or that answer your.
I'm just trying to figure out what obligation property owners have to in between tonight and the next meeting, continuance for hearing. Are we supposed to negotiate 144?
You are,
That's what we're trying to establish right now.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll show.
No, that's not what I meant by that. I'm saying we have the same question.
Yeah.
We think, at least to this point, we think that there are some things that prevent us from closing the public hearing and deliberating and deciding tonight. So we want to establish what those are for ourselves to make sure that we are not, continuing a public hearing for no good reason. And that we are getting what we need in between public hearing, segments so that we could, deliberate and decide at the next public meeting.
While we're still talking about curb cuts, I have a question. We're talking about, stopping the use of these two curb cut locations, but you're not proposing to change the sidewalk or can do any construction along the sidewalk to.
Not the sidewalk.
Well, I think it was removing a curb cut is putting a curb in. And that could probably be more specific.
Well, it wouldn't happen in this one,
Yeah.
between 140 and 144, because there'd be a parking spot there. So
Well,
that would
the
remain.
plans don't indicate a parking.
Oh, I see.
But I think the commentary tonight. That's negative about the parking.
Oh, you're right. That's true.
It would be good to clarify what work would be done along the sidewalk.
yes, and that would have to be coordinated with Public Works. A revised, zoning table. With,
Verified.
or a verified,
Revise that's necessary.
so, but also would add, pervious versus impervious percentages,
Okay, so not just.
correct? And it's a request. And just for the record, the reason that I'm asking for that is that we are dealing with a lot of flooding in Five Corners area. And we are actually in the process right now of dealing with that and studying it and doing. Trying to come up with solutions. Probably a combination of solutions for that area, so. While everybody's looking at this area, it would be. Helpful.
Towards that goal, this plan
Yes,
project will decrease the run.
right. Understood. Also, if you can show us what you would like to do in terms of the fencing on top of the retaining wall. That would be helpful.
I'll go back to my masterpiece. Super here.
What page?
That's on top.
Black side.
Right, but they, is it chain link or is it?
Oh, yeah.
Is that on 10?
11.
Okay.
Top left corner.
Yeah. That's the no one.
My mind is black.
Okay, well,
But we can.
What, how high? 4 feet?
I just-
I'm sorry, both first, it's the same, right? Both.
42 minimum.
For the fence. How far is the ground one?
At most, I think it's 7.
that's ultimately gonna be a building. So. All, but. And you may want.
Yeah, I want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely want it.
Oh, the fence will be, there will be a fence up top. Yeah, we're not having it, but. So,
Right.
no, it's just a question of. What is it gonna look like and, you may wanna check with building department just to see what they would require to with that.
Just materials or forces, things like that.
In terms of materials, height. Whatever will make it,
That's
they want, you want them to be happy, eventually, they have to be happy.
yeah, absolutely.
Okay, sorry, we talked about foot candles, it's fine. You can get clarification for us also on the right of way. And. Into that 0.
The constructions.
Yeah.
I anticipated that to be a condition of approval to negotiate sound construction.
That's, that's. For the list that I'm reading from, but if you could do it for next month,
Actually have the decent or.
just how you propose to. Get that, I mean, it's gonna be a private. Agreement. So just an understanding of what it would take for that.
Think that a couple times. Right.
It's going on to city property as well, right?
Right.
Yes, only.
Oh, it is, okay.
I think it's between us and Sue.
And whatever portion of Sacred Heart property.
I'll call the landowner next.
And we'll talk about it and
Okay.
give it, okay. And
Yeah, it would be good to maybe show the right of way lines on the drawing.
I'll need less or something.
Oh.
At some point it stops. And then-
that worked out.
Just to square up, I'm tracking 3 things right now that are must do. The construction easement discussion with the northwest corner drainage trenching issue. That's one. The private survey in progress that may or may not affect the lines that we're using for the scope of the discussion. And
Relative to 144, correct?
correct. And the first was the role of planning and zoning regarding the longstanding use of the previously shared drive. You're gonna look into whether there's anything there that we be concerned with or have say, regarding.
Right. Anyone else have any other questions?
Only, my only other question, I'm not sure I can articulate this question, but it's the westernmost property line. That bottom left-hand corner of 144 Paquonic, where the property line is amazingly and conveniently, the building is on that line. The existing one-story building seems to be on that line. I think that, you know, for Mr. Chin's sake, and any future owners of 144 Paquonic sake, you would want to be able to nail that line down so that we don't have any issues with, well, your gutter is hanging off in this 144 property and those sort of things.
Right.
Uh,
That's a good question.
just to make sure that, you know, those kind of issues don't pop up because.
Right.
You know,
I agree.
The property description involves measuring off buildings. It's unusual.
Okay, but I'm sure that, you know,
I'm
the
not-
description of 144 doesn't include 4 feet of the roof line.
But again, to the gutters, single ground pipe.
All right, any other commissioner questions? Anyone who spoke, sir, would you like to speak again? You have the opportunity to make a last comment.
I said, I don't know what it's Andrew Chen, 144 Point Road. I don't know whose survey is for, because I'm not saying his is not correct or anything like that. I'm just, they want to make sure and verify it, and that's the thing with that little piece sticking out. And it's like, if it gotta be allowed for parking, they would wish you take that curb out. That, that's spoken for, that's half, you know, if it comes back, nothing changed, right? If the drawing is like that.
All right, okay. All right, I think so. We should move to decide whether we're gonna close the public hearing or continue. Is that a motion to make a motion?
The public hearing.
So,
It's regularly scheduled.
Next regular test.
Okay, motion to continue the next regular second. Second, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Staying? So move. Public hearing is continued. The next February schedule. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. For participating.
November 18th. November 18th is the next regular schedule.
Have a nice passage here.
Next.
What? February. So as it works, I see a regular meeting to accept the site plan. Just vote to do that.
That's it. I mean, you should. It's actually automatically accepted.
Okay. We don't need to take any action for that.
Yeah, that will be. But an application for the very next month.
Anything about like bylaws or the next item?
I didn't see anything.
Bylaw review of possible.
I did so.
We have discussion of possible zoning regulation amendments, section 7 standards. Pick that up again.
Alright.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Keep bringing together. Frank Mr. Cooley might think that I was dogging them off the show.
The thought process back line.
That's enough of that.
It did something, does sound like that.
Oh. Okay, we're on that. We're on the rest first. The, so where we are with the zoning regulations is,
So,
bylaws of the second. Yes. And just you all take a look at them and get to them, and just if there's anything in there. Want to discuss, or questions about, or want to change, I think we want to. But that would change.
He's gonna send us the bylaw of the.
Yes. And it's sort of short to clarify. Thanks.
we're gonna discuss standards in the future.
We are just gonna discuss standards, we are. Discuss. Thank you.
you.
Have a-
Thank you.
Thank you. These are. I will tell you that the last several months have been just things, one that comes into my. It's clear, I guess, that it's been very hard to get. You have a serious chunk of time to be able to. Really focus on trying to finish any. So it becomes, which fire has to get put out first, right? The standard section and the section on the possibility of looking at the rest of the, what makes up the rest of the TIF district, which is the WBR into 5 corners. And then take a closer look at GC, the southern area, so the locations in GC. Right now, they are just still GC. I definitely want to do that. And my calendar in my head is just doing a little swimming right now. The answer is yes, but I think the best way to do it was the way we did it before, which is to have scheduled a special meeting with regulations. Is for me to honestly, me to come to a meeting and have to do all of this and then switch gears to the regulations. It's just, it makes for an exceptionally brain dead.
Well, Paul will be back and you can coordinate it, we'll follow in with what you guys decide. How you handle this.
And I
I would
Standards.
big special, and I need my breaks first, so get somewhere, later.
would you want to, or would you consider, like before Paul and I went in and review for just commerce and. Sure, I'll take all the help, yeah, and if we get that done ahead of time, then focus on just. Cause I did look for them, I do have them on my desktop. And it is kind of highlighted area, so did you ever start working on it? And send it to us, or? I mean, I have started working on all kinds of pieces. I've had them. Section, I've started working on section 7. Let me go back and send you what is. I'm gonna resend you some of just the working drafts of a couple of them. The WBR, just to get an idea of the scope of that. And I gotta take a look again at the standard section because I can't remember. I need to look at that again. Why don't I send you the one I have on my desktop of section 7? Okay, because I can do that first thing. And then you can look at it and determine whether it's something we've already started working or if it's what you already have. And then I know that at one point I was working on it, and what I don't remember is whether it was also included in the last amendment that was passed, or whether it was. I need to take a look at it. All right, let's start with, I'll send it to you tomorrow. Okay, great.
Yeah, I guess I would ask them. And when you get a second to catch your breath, that, you know, you spend a little time on like revision control, you know. We've got an approved version. It'd be handy to get that file and whatever draft you're working on, but I'm sure it's muddy until you take a good look about where that draft stands, and what copy of that draft you have, you know, what's been done to it.
Yeah. And if you want to go into executive session, just for an update on the appeal.
You would like an executive session? Yeah, okay. Motion to go into executive session. Yeah. Yeah, second. Okay. All those in favor of going into executive session? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? So moved. We are now in executive session.
Okay.
I move that we exit executive session.
A second.
Second, all those in favor? Opposed? Abstention, so moved. We're now out of executive session. Does anybody have anything you want to share or talk about? That Joel's complained about before anyone makes a motion to.
Did anybody else catch that? The county council had. Yes, we could, the shortage of housing. Or they put on a presentation. It was very good.
You mean the one about the missing middle?
Yes.
I think there's gonna be another session about that. Yeah, missing.
And I don't know if we did it, but
Yeah, John Reiner's been bringing really good.
it wasn't taken for all of them. It's on yours.
But it's really helpful because one of the things that people don't really understand is even though. Forget about people moving to town, it's just the way we live has changed, so people are living in, they need more housing because we're not living, in large nuclear families anymore. And they do a very good job of taking a lot of data and explaining to the community, like, why this change is going on and why our younger generation is looking for housing and how that drives the housing stock we have and how it's not suited to some of those challenges. So, yeah, I think they do a really good job. Would encourage everybody to continue to go see that. It's really helpful.
And how all the people are going to spend money on. Driving, visiting.
Move to adjourn.
Second. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. We are adjourned. I don't think you need to, I think once you have a motion to adjourn, you know, that's it. Like, I don't know. And that's the broader rules, but I don't.
So,
think-
well, in a commission like this, you, go through it. Yeah, you go through it, and, I can tell you that in some instances, well, you got that? Oh, you want to have a theory?
Yeah, just adding